Okay, let's dive into this. What if I told you that the key to feeling, really vibrant and strong in your later years, maybe not sluggish and achy, what if it came down to just 5 minutes, right when you wake up? Especially, say, if you're over 65.
It does sound almost too simple, doesn't it? But when you really dig into the sources we looked at, and we're talking Harvard, Cleveland Clinic, Johns Hopkins, Mayo, Stanford, there's a surprising agreement emerging. A few really basic actions in the morning seem to be this kind of fundamental recipe, a golden formula, if you will, for boosting how long you live well and keeping your mind sharp as you get older.
Right, and the thing is, so many people who could really use this, they might just not know about it. Or maybe they hear 5 minutes and just think, what difference can that really make?
Yeah.
But that's why we're doing this dive, to show you the how and the why behind it.
Exactly. And to make it real, think about this story from the source's Harold, this retired engineer. Around 68, he was really struggling. Always tired, joints hurting, getting some pretty serious warnings from his doctor about his heart.
Yeah, the note said he actually thought he wouldn't be around to see his grandkids grow up. That's a really tough spot to be in.
It really is. But then his neighbor, who happened to be a retired doctor, shared this incredibly simple morning routine, just 5 minutes. And Harold, understandably, was like, seriously, 5 minutes? How's that going to fix anything? Total skeptic.
But he didn't have much to lose, right? He figured, okay, fine, I'll give it a shot.
And that's where it gets interesting. Pretty quickly, just weeks in, he started feeling different, better. Fast forward 6 months, his doctor was apparently floored. Blood pressure, cholesterol, even his EKG results dramatically improved.
So by 70, his health numbers look like someone maybe 55. Healthy 55. That's incredible. He basically got a second chance just from tweaking those first few minutes of his day.
That's the story. So our mission today is to walk you through those exact 5 steps, what Harold did, and show you the science behind each one, straight from these credible sources. This isn't some crazy diet or, hours in the gym. It's about smartly setting up your body and mind for the day ahead.
Okay, let's get into it. Step 1. It starts the moment you open your eyes, right?
Element 1. The morning hydration protocol. First minute you're awake, crucial first step.
And it's just drinking water. Sounds basic. About 16 ounces, 480 mils or so. Room temperature with a bit of lemon squeezed in. And you do this before anything else. Coffee, tea, food, everything.
Exactly, before anything else. And the why here is really important, particularly as we age. Overnight, just from breathing and maybe sweating a little, your body gets surprisingly dehydrated. You can actually lose almost half a liter of water while you sleep.
Wow, okay. And I guess being dehydrated makes your blood thicker, harder for your heart to pump.
Precisely. Imagine thick syrup versus water going through a pipe. That thicker blood puts more strain on your heart and blood vessels. And it's a big reason why the risk for things like strokes and heart attacks is statistically highest in those first couple of hours after waking up, especially for the over 65 group. So starting the day hydrated like this, it can genuinely lower that immediate risk, improve your circulation right off the bat, help brain function.
Okay, that makes sense. But why room temperature water? My first thought is usually ice cold. To wake me up.
Yeah, it feels counterintuitive, but cold water can actually make your blood vessels constrict, tighten up just temporarily. But right when you wake up, you want those vessels nice and open for good blood flow to your heart and brain. Room temperature water helps them stay dilated, helps things flow smoothly.
Got it. And the lemon, is that just for flavor? Or?
Oh, it's way more than flavor. The sources point to it adding electrolytes like potassium, which is great for helping manage blood pressure. Plus you get vitamin C and some compounds that might even help keep arteries softer over time. It also kind of wakes up your liver, helps activate enzymes for detoxing, and even nudges collagen production. Good for joints and skin.
Huh. So that first minute, that glass of water, it's not just about being thirsty. It's like a strategic wake-up call for your whole cardiovascular system, setting the stage.
You got it. A foundational step, as experts from Harvard and Cleveland Clinic call it. Hydration gets the fuel in the system. But now you need to get that fuel, that blood, actually moving properly, especially after lying still all night.
Okay, which brings us to element 2, circulation reset. This is right after you swing your legs out of bed. Takes about a minute.
Just about 60 seconds, right beside your bed. It's a really simple sequence. You stand tall, feet about shoulder width apart, reach your arms up overhead, take a deep breath in through your nose, then lower your arms as you breathe out through your mouth. Easy. Then roll your shoulders backwards slowly, maybe 5 times, then forward 5 times. And finish with 10 slow heel raises, just lifting your heels off the floor and lowering them.
Okay, simple enough. But why is this immediate movement so critical? We've just been lying down.
Well, when your horizontal blood naturally pools a bit in your lower body, then you stand up quickly. And that blood can rush downwards for a second, meaning less blood flow, less oxygen getting to your brain right away.
Ah, that's the head rush. The dizziness or feeling unsteady sometimes, which is obviously a big fall risk for seniors.
Exactly. And research from places like Johns Hopkins shows that if you don't consciously help redistribute that blood flow, you basically start your day with sluggish circulation. Your brain isn't getting the oxygen it needs.
And this little 60-second routine fixes that.
It makes a surprisingly big difference. The geriatric circulation specialist mentioned in the sources, Dr. Eleanor Thomas, Elena Torres, their work showed this simple sequence can boost blood flow to the brain by over 40%.
40%.
Seriously.
From just a minute of gentle movement. That's, wow. That kind of impact for such little effort is exactly what this dive is about finding.
It really is. And it's not just about feeling less dizzy, though that's important. It actively reduces stroke risk, makes you feel more alert, physically warmer, more ready for the day. Those heel raises, specifically, they act like little pumps in your calves, pushing that pooled blood back up towards your heart and, importantly, your brain.
And didn't the sources also mention it helps another system, something we don't usually think about?
Yes. The lymphatic system. You know, your blood has the heart to pump it around, but your lymph fluid, which is crucial for clearing out toxins and for your immune function, it doesn't have its own pump. It relies entirely on muscle movement to circulate.
So this minute of movement is like a jump start for your internal cleanup crew and your immune system too.
That's a great way to put it. Kickstarts the cleanup and defense.
Okay, so recap. 1 minute. Right after getting up. Better circulation, better balance, less dizziness, helps the brain, helps the immune system. Feels like a powerhouse minute.
Definitely. So you've hydrated, you've got the blood flowing. Now the body's primed for the next step. Strategic fuel.
Which is element 3, the protein timing method. And this one has a deadline within the first 30 minutes of waking.
That's the key window. The action itself is straightforward. Get 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein into your system within that first half hour.
Okay, most of us know protein's good for muscles, but why this timing? Why so early? And why is it extra important as we get older?
This is a really critical insight, particularly from the National Institute on Aging research. It turns out that between roughly 3 a.m. and 8 a.m., the aging body naturally ramps up muscle breakdown. It's a process called catabolism. It happens more intensely during these hours as we age. Now, if you don't provide your body with protein during this specific golden window when it needs fuel, it has no choice but to start breaking down its own muscle tissue for energy.
Whoa, so skipping breakfast or even just delaying the protein part means you're literally letting your body eat away at your muscles overnight and into the morning.
That's essentially what's happening. And over time, that slow, steady muscle loss adds up. It leads to less strength, a slower metabolism, makes your immune system weaker, and dramatically increases the risk of falls, fractures, loss of independence. Dr. Rebecca Fleming, a geriatric nutrition expert, cited in the sources, she put a number on it. Seniors getting that 25-30 grams of protein early could experience up to 64% less muscle loss over 5 years compared to those who delay or skip breakfast protein.
64% over 5 years. That's potentially life-changing. That's the difference between staying strong and independent versus not.
It absolutely can be. And this early protein does more than just save muscle. It gives you sustained energy, improves your mobility. It can even help with things like back pain. It supports your cognitive function, your heart health. Plus, it's brilliant for stabilizing blood sugar levels first thing. That helps curb cravings later in the day, reduces the urge to overeat, which is great for managing weight, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes risk.
Okay, sold. What are some easy ways to get that 25-70 grams in quickly? Because morning can be rushed.
Think fast and efficient. A scoop of whey protein powder shaken up with that water you just drank is super quick. Or maybe 4 or 5 egg whites, perhaps with 1 whole egg scrambled fast. A cup of Greek yogurt, maybe stir in some extra protein powder if needed. Cottage cheese works. If you're plant-based, soft tofu or a good pea or rice protein powder blend. The key is hitting that target amount, 25 to 30 grams, within the 30-minute window.
Got it. So this step is really about protecting your strength foundation, your muscle mass, by fueling it right when it's most vulnerable and needs it most.
Exactly. You've hydrated, circulated, fueled the muscles. But what about the parts that connect everything, the joints? They need a gentle wake-up, too.
Right. Element 4. The 90-second mobility sequence. This comes after the circulation bit, so maybe a minute or two after getting out of bed.
Yeah, it takes about 90 seconds. And it's all about gentle movements to basically lubricate your joints and warm up the muscles around them.
Okay, walk us through this one.
You can start sitting down, maybe on the edge of your bed again. Just gently rotate your ankles, maybe 10 times clockwise, 10 times counterclockwise. Then do the same kind of thing with your knees, small, gentle circles, 10 each way. Then stand up, use support if you need it. Gently lean your upper body from side to side, nice and slow, maybe 5 times each way. Okay. Then a slow torso twist, left and right. And finish off with about 10 slow backward shoulder rolls, just loosening everything up.
Okay, makes sense. But why these gentle movements specifically right after waking? What's happening in the joints overnight?
Well, when you're inactive during sleep, the fluid that cushions and lubricates your joints, it's called synovial fluid, it actually gets thicker, more viscous.
Oh, like engine oil when it's cold.
Exactly like that. So if you jump straight into your day, making bigger movements or putting stress on those joints before warming up that fluid, you're moving with more friction, less lubrication. Over time, those little bits of extra wear and tear add up. That's a big contributor to morning stiffness, and eventually things like arthritis or joint degeneration.
And that stiffness isn't just uncomfortable, it's dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Especially after 65. Increases fall risk.
Hugely. Stiffness, limited range of motion. These are major factors in falls among older adults. And even a seemingly minor awkward movement in a stiff joint can cause a real injury.
So this 90-second sequence is like gently warming up that joint fluid, getting things moving smoothly before you demand more.
Precisely. It helps thin out and redistribute that synovial fluid, reduces that morning stiffness, improves your flexibility and range of motion right away, supports your balance, and significantly cuts down your risk of falls or injuries from sudden movements. Especially important if you already have some back, knee, or hip issues. It's simple but powerful prevention.
And I think the sources mentioned a little mood benefit here too.
They did. Any kind of gentle movement, especially early, helps trigger the release of endorphins, those natural mood boosters. So it can give you a little lift, help ease any morning anxiety or low feelings. It acts as a nice little bridge between being asleep and being active.
Okay, 90 seconds for smoother joints, better balance, injury prevention, and a bit of a mood lift. Another great investment.
So body's hydrated, circulating, fueled joints mobilize what's left.
The control center. The brain. Element 5, the mental clarity exercise. Just 1 minute for this one.
Just 1 minute. The action is simple. Sit quietly, maybe close your eyes for that minute, and mentally replay your previous day. But do it in reverse order.
Reverse. Okay, why the backwards? That sounds tricky.
That's the point. It makes your brain work a bit harder than just recalling chronologically. So you'd start with, say, what you had for dinner last night, then think backward. What were you doing before dinner? Lunch. Before lunch, what happened at breakfast? Try to pull up details. Who did you talk to? What did you see outside? How did you feel at different points? Maybe even what you were wearing.
And you can make it harder over time.
Absolutely. Once that feels easy, try recalling 2 days back in reverse. Or challenge yourself to remember even more specific sensory details. Sounds, smells, textures. The effort is what stimulates the brain.
Now, for a lot of people over 65, maybe the biggest fear is losing memory, cognitive decline. Is science really saying we can fight that? That it's not inevitable?
That's one of the most hopeful messages from the modern research, yes. Significant cognitive decline is not an automatic part of aging. Our brains are remarkably adaptable or plastic, and they can be actively stimulated to maintain function, build resilience. Stanford's Brain Longevity Center highlights that the morning, especially that first half hour or so, is a particularly potent time for forming new neural connections.
And this simple reverse recall exercise taps into that.
It does, powerfully. This kind of active cognitive workout boosts the production of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. You can think of BDNF as being like fertilizer for your brain cells. It helps grow new neurons and strengthens the connections, the synapses between existing ones. The studies referenced in the sources show that doing this kind of simple, regular mental exercise can help people maintain cognitive function comparable to those 10, even 20 years younger. And it seems to actively help build resistance against the onset of dementia.
Wait, seriously? Just 1 minute of thinking about yesterday backward could potentially keep your brain working like someone decades younger.
That's the potential power when you target this specific morning golden window for brain stimulation. It builds what's called your cognitive reserve. That's basically your brain's backup capacity, its ability to find new ways to function, even if some areas start to weaken. So this exercise helps protect memory, sharpens your focus for the day, improves recall ability, can even boost your mood, and just generally empowers your mind to stay clearer and more engaged.
Okay, let's put it all together then. 5 steps, roughly 5 minutes total each morning. First, hydrate immediately with room temp water and lemon. Second, the 60-second circulation reset right after getting out of bed. Third, get that 25-30 grams of protein within 30 minutes. Fourth, the 90-second mobility sequence for your joints. And fifth, that 1-minute mental clarity exercise, recalling yesterday in reverse.
Exactly. And as the sources emphasize, these aren't just 5 random tips thrown together. It's a sequence. Each step prepares the body and mind for the next, addressing key physiological needs. Right, during that critical transition from sleep to wakefulness, particularly important for the aging body and brain, it's about setting a foundation, which is often much more powerful than trying to fix problems later on.
It really paints a picture where this simple 5-minute routine could be a realistic path towards living healthier, sharper, more independently, maybe well into your 90s. It could be the difference maker, between staying vital and free versus becoming increasingly dependent just because the power of the morning routine was overlooked.
Absolutely. Healthy longevity often isn't about some secret trick or amassing genetics. It's built on small, consistent daily habits. And the morning, those very first minutes, that's where you lay the groundwork for the entire day and ultimately for the years ahead.
So the challenge we want to leave you with is this. What if you just decided to try it? Try these 5 steps tomorrow morning. It's not about overhauling your whole life. It's just about consciously choosing how you begin your day. 5 focused minutes.
This deep dive really suggests that the quiet power to reshape your health, your mental clarity, your independence as you age, it might not be in some radical new therapy or complex regimen. It might just be found in honoring and preparing your body and mind in these simple ways during those crucial first 5 minutes. What could consistently showing up for yourself in this fundamental way unlock for the rest of your day, and maybe for the rest of your years?